this discussion. Okay, see, the basic purpose of this class is to show you how to use every news and what are the important events in this case. So starting with, see, RBI hikes repo rate by 50 bps. See, basically this is the news and there is an analysis, but you know, even this news, Congress leadership sends clear signal to as Kharge stands for the top post versus Tharoor. So figuratively, अगर हम देखें तो you know, it is not serving any purpose per se because it is a political news, but even this can be this can be used anywhere. So that is what we have to understand, particularly in the essay. For example, how we are supposed to use this news. So somehow there is a leadership for president. So what it is showing? It is showing that our democracy is maturing because there is internal fights of the different viewpoint. Whatever will be the result, but it can be used as an example to show that our democracy is maturing, and the problem, that the foremost important problem that was there with the Indian democracy, what? That there is no intra-party democracy. It is also being solved. So this is what we have to understand in this news, that how to use this news anywhere. Okay, now coming back to our topic, see this news, RBI and inflation. You know, it will be a constant love affair. Okay, because every time there will be crisis, because nowadays economy is dependent upon so many things. So whenever there is an ups and downs in the economy, the repo rate will be changed. And I presume that everybody know what is repo rate, but those who don't know it, and for the initiators, so we can understand that repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends to other bank. The purpose to infuse liquidity or to soak liquidity. ये clear है सबको? Those who are attending the class. So to infuse liquidity, भाई अगर liquidity बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगी market में, तो supply demand आपको पता है, the impact of the supply demand. Okay, that prices बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे, prices बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे, और फिर जब prices बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे तो चीज़ें महंगी होंगी, inflation और होता जाएगा, ठीक है, money का demand, purchasing power कम होती जाएगी. So this is what is being controlled by RBI through repo rate. So it is the basic thing about it, that 7 days, 14 days repo rate exists. The commercial bank can make a repurchase agreement by RBI to sell the government securities and buy back at the different and agreed price. These are the basics. The increased repo rate will discourage banks to borrow from bank, and if they won't borrow, they won't be lending it to the customer. This in turn will reduce the liquidity and demand in the market. So the purchasing power of any currency will increase. On the other hand, decreased repo rate will encourage banks to borrow and lend the customer, increasing the liquidity and demand in the market. So this is the basic concept of the economy, and it can be used in the prelims also. Now, so components of the repo rate: preventing squeeze in the market, which we have already discussed; hedging and leverage. Those who don't know hedging, see, probably sometimes we just invest on something or to protect against something. For that we borrow from the banks. So this will be also decreased. Short-term borrowing will decrease. Collateral insecurities will decrease. So these are the things which we have to see in the repo rate. Okay, so this was all about the repo rate, because see, this will be the news which will ever evolve, and there is no, yes, what is interesting about that, there are geopolitical crises. Even though there is a report in the other newspaper today that even though we have achieved a 60+ surplus in the rain monsoons, but overall conditions of the agriculture was not good. So these are the things which we have to understand. So because of that, there is a inflation in the headline. Inflation is increasing, food prices are increasing. So these are the things which we will see in the, which we have seen about the repo rate. Now the other news is UGC clears professors of the practice post for expert PhD, not must. See, initially it was important for any professors to be in that you have to attain you have to clear the NET examination or GATE examination, UGC NET examination. So before that, and only after that you will gain the PhD, and after that you will be recruited as a professor or assistant professor, say any of the university. So what it did, it created a disjunction between what? That what are the skills demanded by the market, because those people who are not in the market were teaching. So the skills required, there was a skills and education mismatch. So to solve this and to reap the benefit of the market experience somebody is getting, so this post was created, and in this PhD is not required, because most of the people you see are not going for the PhD if they are successful, okay, or probably after gaining so much experience after in the market, understanding the things, PhD is not required. So this was about this part, and it can be used in paper 2, paper 1, paper 3 along with the essay. Anywhere where you have to talk about the demographic dividend and the problems with it, or the overall problem with the education system. So this can be used anywhere. Now the fourth point, to better track PLI, claims government flows digital platform for data sharing. What is the purpose of this? The purpose is, see, the prime of first it was used in FAME, now it is being used in the e-vehicle components. The problem was that people were shifting the responsibilities and they were getting benefit out of it. So to curtail this, the government has resorted to this. Now its prime objective includes creating economy of scale and building a robust supply chain in areas of advanced products, so that Indian manufacturers can move up the global value chain and benefit from the China plus one strategy of multilateral companies or multinational companies. See, basically the purpose is to improve upon the logistics, to improve upon the supply chain. After the crisis of COVID, it was realized that our global value chain is weak as compared to China. Moreover, due to increasing trade protections and fight, people are now shifting away from China, and in this, if we will be able to improve our supply chain or global value chain, then it can be increased. So this was the whole purpose. Now, so the migrating to a digital platform is meant to bring in transparency. Again, this news, paper 3 important, paper 3 GS, logistics, supply chain, it is very important in this case. Data sharing between companies seeking incentives and the government. This comes when some companies have been found to have an alleged claim that incentives, despite not having achieved their respective target to manufacture electric vehicles in the country. So, you know, the Production Link Initiative can help in sharing the data as well as bringing the transparency. Okay, so this was the purpose of it, to improve the global scale and global value chain. Now, moving to our next topic. Yes. Now, this is gained in translation. Khan Academy in Punjab for government school kids. What is the background of the news? See, 2 aspirational districts, the average dropout rate was more than 17% from primary to higher secondary. So, though Punjab is a developed state, and this problem was being witnessed by the Ministry of HRD Ministry, and so there were many things that were included. The problem that the larger medium was English, Hindi, and the maths was not taught in that Punjabi medium. Now from 2008, the other Khan sir has gained prominence, and his way of teaching is considered very unique. Foundations of the student can be improved. So the Punjab government took the initiative, and the course were translated of the mathematics, particularly from 6 to 10 in the mother tongue, which is Punjabi. So how it will improve the overall condition? So the purpose, again, anywhere it includes GS1, GS2, GS3, essay, also essay. So in this case, there are always some benefits in teaching in the mother tongue. What are that? Mother tongue is vital in framing and thinking of the emotions. See, if you will understand that what you have learned, thinking, or what you have been learning in the home, you have been getting the ideas in your mother tongue. So your cognitive component will improve, your comprehensive development, it will also result in comprehensive development of a child. Or if one student is learning, the student express himself, herself better, and to observe education is also smooth and easy. We have seen that the dropout rates among the tribal is the highest in India, nearly 48%, and this is the reason. In some language it is also called, in educated पढ़ो लिखो के शब्दों में, it is called decontextualized knowledge. The point being is that if you will see decontextualized education, what is the point? Point is, for Hindi speaking people, or for most of the India, if we say those who are not tribals also, means those who are not Hindu tribals. See, if we say Ram or Sita, or Manu or Satrupa, so we can frame an image that, okay, maybe there are persons who are named Ram or Sita or whatever is the name, because we identify with that name. Now just replace it by Adam or Eve or anyone. So first of all, the name itself is alien to us. Okay, the name itself is alien to us, and it results in what? We are not able to comprehend, mind is not able to comprehend that what has happened. So to resolve these, and see, the other important part about the Khan Academy initiative is that there is a trend towards the homogenization and using the IT tools for standardized education. That is more important because they have developed a lot. And the pedagogical procedures have developed because they are able to comprehend that what student is, where the students are facing problem. They are developed, they are raising the awareness about asking the question, expressing yourself. In that context, standard education, which is very well, improves the overall cognition. The other benefit of the learning in the mother tongue is it will also build a strong home and school partnership in the learning. The detachment that was there, because generally the people who are learning in the English medium, now they start learning in the Hindi medium. Largely the language was of Hindi in the home. So there was a detachment between home and school. So it was not being translated in the overall educational achievement. So this was the thing that Khan Academy education will improve that. Now further, prime benefit of the primary education, as many of the students find them difficult to express themselves in English and hence are not able to transfer as much knowledge as they would like to, thus creating a knowledge deficit. See, the first point is that emotion of the students, and second point is home or school relationship, third point is expression, fourth point is there was a recommendation by Dr. Yaspal Sharma that providing primary education in mother tongue will decentralize the task of textbook making, which have been long task of textbook making. See, you cannot follow the uniform and homogenized textbooks. Maybe it can be different from the different state of the people. That's why it is important that we teach them in mother tongue and according to their textbook. Yet we are facing a contradictions that how can Khan Academy, which is generally taught in English, can be translated and it will be standardized again. So you see that a lot of teacher prepared it, and they are specifically, teachers are trained to teach the student in such a way that would improve their learning abilities. So this is a good initiative. Now the last point is, which we have already talked about, is the decontextualized knowledge, that it brings a sense of alienation from one's own culture and heritage. So education in mother tongue will help in getting a sense of their own culture. Largely, if you see, there was a news in the Indian Express a few days back that Babar Azam, the cupboard drive of Babar Azam is used in Pakistani textbook to analyze the elasticity, okay, and collision physics. So this is how in the 7th standard or 8th standard book. So basically, there is someone who is a hero and you are using him to explain the things. And today we have one news where MS Dhoni is being used to analyze the problems with the society. So this is the part. Learning in foreign language alienate one from understanding the overall reality. Now, in this second page, there is this news which can be used in IR, okay, that how India through deft diplomatic efforts, okay, forced China to withdraw petition in International Atomic Energy Agency. So there China was against armament of the Australia vis-a-vis nuclear submarine. So India through its diplomatic effort persuaded the nation that they won't be voting against it. So it was being appreciated by the overall AUKUS. So the thing is that how our relationship is improving. This was the main line of this news. Now the other news which is again important vis-a-vis mains preparation is stopping projects they develop. See, this is what developing countries on pretext of climate change, stopping projects. There are so many projects in India, particularly hydel power projects or the nuclear nuclear reactor projects, which are being stuck. So the Supreme Court had, particularly Justice Chandrachud had said that presiding over while plea by the Municipal Corporation Greater Mumbai seeking permission to carry some allied work simultaneously with the ongoing constructions of the Mumbai coastal roads on the reclaim from the sea. The problem is that there is an article that you cannot develop India or for that matter any other developing countries if there is a lack of infrastructure. This is what the court has said, that see, the problem is being created by there was a historical notion that developed country had created the problems. So why we are stopping the developing part or developing nations in creating such issues or such developmental work. So there is a 10-kilometer undersea flyover or way is constructed near the sea, and the environmentalists have the concerns that it can create the problem in the longer run. So to stop that, the Supreme, not to stop that, but to put it in a better pretext, so Supreme Court had said that such works should not be stopped. It is not a blanket ban order, but the thing is that it should be first analyzed, and then only then one can be improve or approach this problem in a different pretext. So local news third phase is of no consequence. But there was one issue, yes. Road tax, this is important in the context of that how you are given benefit, and this can be used as a model to promote an electric vehicle and to sell your car, second-hand car, in a very legal way. So that a rebate on road tax when you scrapping the vehicles after the scrapping policy. So this can be used in example in paper 3. Okay, that such kind of initiative generally help people by giving a positive initiative or positive benefit, so that people can dispose of their or scrap their cars in a more institutionalized way. So this was the only news which was of any importance, and it can be used in example. Now, the next news is preventive detention. It was already an issue which has been ongoing for quite some time, that the democratic government is using the tools of preventive detention to cull the dissent or to stop anybody from protesting. So in this, a bench of U. Lalit and Justice Ravindra Bhatt ordered or found a link, live and proximate link. The issue is of Tripura. Okay, paper 2. This news is related with the paper 2. GS2 polity section. The important part that we have to understand is this: live and proximate between grounds of detention and the purpose of detention. This is very important in that context. The thing is that this is a case of Tripura where a person was held under preventive detention, but the Supreme Court saw, and first it was analyzed with the help of Ashok Kumar versus Delhi administration, a case of 1982. Ashok Kumar, 1982 judgment of Ashok Kumar and versus Delhi administration. Now the Supreme Court has said that, probably if there is a date of arrest and when the notice was issued, and if there is after such a long delay, if you are arresting someone, suppose the order was issued last month and you are arresting someone on October 15. So what is the link between, and what you are preventing in this case? So there is no live and proximate link between the grounds, and it is not a tool of the democratic politics or democratic government. So when there is no live and proximate ground, what is the use of using the preventive detention? So this is one important part where it can be used in GS2 and GS4. Live and proximate link between the ground of detention and the purpose of detention. Say suppose if there is a far or there is no link between it, a person cannot be put under jail under and arrested under preventive detention. So this was the news that was important, another important news, and it can be used in paper 2 and paper 4. Yes, this is another news. Monsoon winds on a high, say 6% surplus rainfall, but overall there was the development or the fruit was not translated into the agriculture because of the flooding and such other issues. Okay, now similar for the other छोटे मोटे examination के लिए, General Anil Chauhan, and what is to be understood here is that a former Eastern Army commander. So you see that Indian government is putting those people who have the experience at both the side. Particularly now it is seeing the Chinese as a bigger threat than the Pakistan. So there is an overall change in outlook of threat, and it has shifted more towards the China. Even the chief of defense staff is someone who got the expertise in the Eastern warfare, or he was posted at the Eastern Army as Eastern Army commander. So this is what we have to see and analyze from this part. Now there is this news that people, even after free announcement and free coverage of the COVID, particularly by the Delhi government and after that central government, are not going for the COVID vaccination. It is not because of vaccine hesitancy, rather it is because of, you see, the failed precautions, or not, the level of the threat has decreased. Those people who have contracted COVID at the third wave were not that ill. So the problem is the people are not going for the third wave or the precautionary vaccination. The problem is that maybe if everybody is not vaccinated, see the coverage, there is a near coverage of the first vaccination round, but the same is not true for the second or the third one. So suppose anyone contracts the disease, the problem with the virus is that it can manifest itself into multiple form, and which can further create problem. So it is important for everyone to get vaccinated. Now this is not, I am not trying to preach it here, but this can be used in the paper 3, that how awareness can be created, or how the issue of local globalization of disease. See, local globalization of disease is what? That's it, just spreads from 1% in one area to locally, say probably Noida to Delhi. These areas can be considered as the local globalization of the disease. Now, this is important because you are not supposed to he talked about Lalit Kapoor. This is not for the purpose of the UPSC, but you can, you have to use it in your lifestyle, that you have to maintain a sleep cycle. And this person, Lalit Kapoor, was diagnosed with cancer because he was not maintaining his sleep cycle properly. Now, again that GDP wala news or repo rate wala news, so it is not that important per se, because we have already discussed it, the same issues. Here there is a news bullseye that we talked about the double asteroid redirection mission and how it destroyed some extraterrestrial threat, but the larger theme is that there are threats from the inside, particularly if you see the issues of Russia or the disease and such other issues. So this can be DART, double asteroid redirection test, important from the perspective of prelims only. This is another important news, that issues of the pesticides and chemical fertilizer use in India, and he generally identified 6 problems or 4 problems, that what are the issues that we are facing it. We know about the use of pesticides, okay, that how it just generally occurs to come into the human body through use of agriculture or through river drainage and such other issues. So the issue he identified is that business model of the farm chemical input industries must transform and become a service industry. See, he gave the example of Pakistan, where there was only one brand at the shop, and he provided the ancillary services like spare, the use of once the chemical. Few August Sargoda, I was pleasantly surprised to witness this farm name. It also offered services to get farms sprayed, ensuring lesser input application. And he just contrasted with the India, where there are multiple brands are sold under the one shop, and because of the commission basis, people are also the shopkeeper is saying a lot and lot without any control. So people are using chemical fertilizer in any number, and there is no control over it. The only control comes from the voluntary aspect, but you will identify the problem with the voluntary, that it cannot be controlled. Further, he talked about that shopkeepers should report scale of farm chemical. These are the ways forward he suggested, that shopkeepers should report each sales of the farm chemical to the government in real time. And he gave the example, last year in Punjab, developed this purpose could be operated by a person with the skills of class 8 student, but it was not implemented. So this is the, see, there is no real time reporting of the use of chemical fertilizer. For the third, he talked about a QR code and gave the example of Bayer, the world's largest seed and pesticide company, had to print a QR code on every pesticide package, so it will give the idea of that how much is required by each farm input. So there is this first, that it has to be controlled from the shopkeeper side, and the model that we are following, the commission basis, was not good. Second, that a real-time reporting of the chemical fertilizers should be reported, and the example of Punjab can be used. Third, QR code, so that the farm input and the need of the farm can be analyzed through the use of big data and analytics. Fourth, it talks about there should be a regulation, safety data generated by the industries practically taken at the face value. So because as of now there is voluntary aspect only, so it is not doing. We have to initiate a separate mechanism so that it can be controlled. Okay, so this, and further this can be used in paper 3, environment and ecology, and also the regulating the market. So that is important part in this case. Okay. Yes, this first, and as I was talking, Dhoni knows, we don't. So the issue that Menika Guru Swami is highlighting here, that we have become over dependent on technology. That even after waking up, we just try to see what is the message, what is overall WhatsApp status or Instagram or Facebook. Just say it anything. That we are more about trying to analyze them, these aspects, rather than that how we are supposed to develop. So if you do remember, there was a question in the 2021 paper, in the essay paper, that the process of self-discovery has been outsourced to technology. So it can be used in this context, and overall that effective, that how society is shifting or becoming more dehumanized, where persons are not developing on the cognition, but rather they are developing on some virtual aspect. So she gave some report, with the help of reports she tried to analyze that if you are using more than 2 or 3 social media platform, it can be problematic. Your overall ability to grasp the fact decreases by around 40%. So these are the point she highlighted. Technology has made the virtual world easily accessible and so engaging that doctors are now worrying that addictive nature of the technology. Point 1. Second, said that higher level, if you are using more than 2 social media platforms, you have a higher level of anxiety. Third, that if you are, she gave some, with the help of some research, she analyzed that if you are reading through newspapers, because she gave iPad to somebody, the research gave iPad to somebody and the newspaper to somebody, and those people who were reading with the print newspaper, they were nearly 40% grasping capacity of those people who are using newspaper were 40% more than those people who are using iPad. And see, this can be attributed to melatonin, where enzyme that body produces, and it is critical for sleep. And with the use of iPad, the blue light, it creates the confusion and overall grasping capacity decreases. Further, she also highlights that our ability to reflect, to observe, and to look within decreases with the help of technology. So this was the question I told you that in the essay, if you remember, that the process of self-discovery has been outsourced to technology. So it can be used anywhere, particularly in paper 1 technologies, because see, this year there was a question now that what is the impact of work from home on the family relationship, and work from home necessarily includes the use of technology. So you see that how it can there are problems with the help of using the technology. Now Swachh Bharat, next step, again paper 2, paper 3, also paper 1. So this generally talk about an initiative which called the Lighthouse Initiative, and it is to be used through PPP mode along in the 75 Gram Panchayats in 15 states. And this Lighthouse Initiative is based on the principles of inclusive sanitations and leaving no one behind. Lighthouse Initiative aims to effectively implement solid and liquid waste management structure by employing a participatory and consultative process through mobilization of the village communities. Further, plastic waste watershed allows them to become economically self-sufficient in the medium to long term. This has been the issue, and the funding will come from the private enterprise through corporate social responsibilities. So it has to be remembered, for example, and particularly from the perspective of the prelims also, the Lighthouse Initiative Commission and the components of it. Okay. There was also one, you see, this news is developing and it is talking, you have to have some historical background, and it talks about it, that what was the problem during the Kennedy part and after 1991 nuclear armament, and it is talking about that how we are just meandering through the global crisis that we are witnessing. Now, particularly it emanates from the issue, or it arises from the issue, that how Pakistan is giving an aid of around $400 million for F-16. Sorry, US is giving aid of $400 million to Pakistan for purchasing and managing the F-16, and India created an issue, not India created, but India contradicted it, that you are not supposed to, because after all you know that where it will be used and how it will be used. But Pakistan said that it has a responsibility, and because Pakistan is an you say that Pakistan is a nation which is facing the problems of the terrorism. So in this context it has to be understood, not very significant, but it will keep develop. Now this is another news which is important from the perspective of the prelims, that 26 caves of the Mahayan sect of the Buddhism date back at the same time of Ajanta caves in Aurangabad are found in Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. And this is the first, not the first time, but this is very important, that something in deep inside the forest, the Buddhist monasteries, stupas and temples are found in the deep state of the deep inside the forest. So this is the part that we have to analyze. Okay, and there are so many issues, but I don't think so that is important, because there is a conflict between the academicians and the ASI, but that is not important, and it is not important from the either prelims or means perspective. Now reviews, if you want to see the movie, okay, you have to find it yourself. This is not important from the other, also the perspectives of the either means or prelims, but yes, there is one important issue where we have to analyze that, see, we have seen many IPO disaster these times, particularly the things that because more and more people are coming in the Sensex and the share market. Okay, so you see that SEBI has imperated that disclosing of the key performance indicator, you have to remember it, key performance indicators for the IPO to be launched in the market, for allowing pre-filling of the initial public offering. inclusions of unit of mutual fund units under insider trading regulation framework to facilitate online. See, the issue is that, particularly after this Zomato crisis, or there are so many crises like this, the IPOs are not doing well, and they are always challenges of the insider trading. Insider trading, when you know about the issues beforehand, and particularly those people who are selling and buying before it goes to the market. So this is the issues. So to control this, SEBI has launched new guidelines. Have to make disclosure of the KPI in price per sharing issues based on the past transactions and past fundraising done by the issuer from the basis for issue of the price. So just remember it that SEBI has came with the new guidelines for the IPO disclosure. Okay, not that important. It is important from the perspective of the paper 3, insider trading and regulation. Okay, now there is one other important news, but it is not per se important news because it is from the sports section. The issue has been ongoing from the last time, a significant amount of time or significant period. The issue is that triathlon is an activity, sports activity, which has to be shifted inside the swimming pool. So it highlights the problem. It can be used in example where sports infrastructure, we are not ready with the complete sports infrastructure. Moreover, the problems in the Sabarmati river is still there. Okay, the E. coli bacteria has increased in nearly every patches. The problem is we are still seeing it as a river. That is more important point. And the health of environment and paper 3 GS environment. So the thing is that we are still seeing it river, and we are dictating or directing the policy from that perspective, but the amount of the water in these river has decreased to a significant extent. So treating it is a river in that pretext and deciding the amount of effluent, industrial, regulated as well and unregulated, as creating the problem. And that's why Sabarmati river is it's very much polluted, particularly witnessed by the significant amount of the E. coli bacteria, and it has increased nearly 17% in last 4 years. So this is the problem with this is the news, overall news, which we have to see from this perspective. The issue is that everyday newspaper you will get something which will be important from the perspective of mains as well as prelims. So today they was focus on the mains because largely the news were more towards the main session, and we know that where it can be used repo rate, mains and prelims, Bandhavgarh, significantly prelims, examples which you have got it from. Now there will be a link, PDF will be uploaded in the link also, where you can so you will get it. Okay, and the questions will follow up in the same section. So with that pretext, these are the news, and just comment upon anything if you haven't understood, or where else you want more analysis or improvement, and we will follow it. Okay, thank you.
The first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.